My name is Jennifer Wharton. I'm going to talk a little bit today about my library and the after-school clubs I run there. First of all, as you may have guessed, you are not at my library, you're in my apartment. It's a long story. Welcome to my home. So I have been the Youth Services Librarian at the Matheson Memorial Library in Elkhorn for a little over 7 years. Our town has about 10,000 people, but we also serve a number of surrounding townships that bring our service population up to 23,000 more or less. And we have 3 elementary schools, 2 within walking distance and 1 about 15 minutes out of town, and each one has more or less 400 to 450 kids. A few years ago, I started a Lego club at our library, and honestly at this point, I don't remember why. I think one of the elementary schools used to have one, and they asked me to do it, and then somebody gave me a bunch of Legos. I think that's about how it started. And shortly after that, I added a sewing club. That was a massive failure. The kids loved it. I had 30 plus kids at every meeting, and I was a nervous wreck by the end of every meeting, because what I, in my hippie upbringing, had not thought of was that no modern kid knows how to thread a needle. You try to thread the needles of 30 kids simultaneously, it doesn't work. So I had been running a summer program with some art stuff, just kind of messy art, just kind of messing around. So we added Messy Art Club to Lego Club, and then last fall, I added Mad Scientist Club. So we now have 3 clubs, and the way they work scheduling is they alternate. Each week is something different. Pretty much how it is. I've shifted a lot of things. I've tried themes for Lego Club. Nobody cared. Like I said, I've tried a sewing club. That didn't work. I've moved the times around. Even if school is not letting out until nearly 4 o'clock, people still want you to start at 3:30. Right now, we run the clubs from 3:30 to 5:30. But I have some kind of general rules that I've kind of built into the clubs from the beginning that make it a success for our town and community. One of the things is I do not have any age limits. Anyone can come. I used to tell people, if you've got a kid under 3 and you come to Lego Club, you have to watch them to make sure they don't eat the Legos, and then I found a 6-year-old sucking on the Legos. So now I say, if your kid's going to eat the Legos, you got to watch them. Sometimes I have groups of bored teenagers show up. I have a lot of toddlers who like to come, and one of the ways that this works is because they're also drop-in. So any age, drop in. 3:30 to 5:30 is our current time for the clubs. So you can come at 3:30, you can stay for 10 minutes, you can come at 4:30 and stay for half an hour, you can come at 5:15 and have 15 minutes to make something really, really fast. And so when I'm designing projects and ideas for the club, I am trying to take into account a lot of different ages and ability levels. One of the special populations our town serves, well, really the only one, is we have the county special education school, and I've really worked over the past years to make sure those kids feel welcome at the library and that they're integrated into the club. So I am going to show you some of the ways that we do this at our club. So, for example, here is one of my little Lego Club girls. And you can see this is not a really exciting Lego Club creation. She's basically just shoved a couple bricks together. And she's only going to be at Lego Club for maybe 10 minutes or something. But look at her face. This is the best thing ever. At something like Mad Scientist Club, I always have an experimental portion and a project portion. And again, everything open-ended, available to different abilities and age levels. Okay, I know we're not supposed to have favorites. This is my favorite toddler. She's so cute. She is 2. She is very focused. This is Mad Scientist Club, and she's very focused on cutting the ribbons that are going to go onto her boat. And this is one of the kids who's building by, and you can kind of see the guy up there in the corner, and he got tired of building, so he sat down to read a book. And that's fine. Again, it's a drop-in thing, build until you're bored. This kid spent a lot of time because he was building a Pokemon creation. He was there for nearly 2 hours building his Pokemon creation. And that's good. That's what Lego Club is all about too. Another thing that I talk about a lot in the clubs is people ask, can I just drop my kids off? Sometimes I know we worry a lot about parents participating with the kids, and I just kind of let it go. Sometimes the parents really want to join in with the kids, or they want to make an art creation themselves. I tell them that's fine, it's for the whole family. Sometimes they just really want a break and the kids are fine on their own. That's cool too. This was at our building project, and one of the dads got really into it, and he built a semi-truck. I think by the end his kids were kind of bored, and they're like, come on Dad, let's go, but he had to finish his semi-truck. And then these two characters, this is B and this is G, and their moms just need a break. They're from the special education school. This little guy in particular has boundless energy and absolutely no attention span whatsoever. So a lot of times at clubs he spends a lot of the time just running around the room, and that's fine. They'll sit down and make some stuff. I chat with them. If they start getting a little out of control, I'll remind them of, library rules. Use your walking feet. Don't interrupt, and they're cool with that too. And if their moms want to sit and talk for an hour while the kids entertain themselves, that's what they need. That's fine. And this is my man T. T has been coming to Lego Club since the very first day. He's got a little bit of a personality issue, but we love him anyways. And this was building club, Mad Scientist Club. Everybody was building massive box creations and castles and rocket pack jumpers or something. He decided to make a duct tape wallet. That's cool. He used the stuff at hand. He came up with something. He made it on his own. It's all good. Again, I really emphasize that the kids can be independent if they want to be, or the parents can help them and do it as a family project. Either way, it's just what works for them. And I really emphasize the open-ended projects. I do product type crafts sometimes, like painting the pots, but I try to steer away from those because we don't have registration. All ages drop in. Never have any idea how many people are going to show up. This is one of our most popular ones, is What Floats, What Flies. And here we are seeing What Floats. This little guy came with his aunt, who is a friend of mine, and they worked on making their boat, and then they took it out to see if it would float, and it didn't do so well, so they tried again, and he was really intent on putting a hole in it, so they tried that out to see what that worked. This is science. Any age can do it. Maybe an older kid is going to make something more elaborate, like a 3-story pontoon powered by straws. I turned around and saw that one day, and I was like, whoa. But they're having fun. They're learning science. And finally, like I said, it's keep it simple. This is the other half of What Floats, What Flies. This is one of my teen 8s who just left for school. This is one of my regulars. He's, I think he's going to be 6th grade now, and his mom, and they're testing paper airplanes. Super simple. All you need is some tape on the floor to mark out targets, paper to make the airplanes, and a ladder. It's good if you have somebody to hold the ladder because 2-year-olds have a tendency to fall off. And that's it. They can spend all day doing it. So again, to kind of reiterate, my 3 main things are that it's accessible to all ages and abilities, that the kids can be independent or work together as a family. I supply the materials, they supply the imagination. That's what a lot of my marketing says. And that we limit the number of product-based projects because I like the kids to use their imaginations. They get so much more out of it. And also because I have no way to count who's coming. And so really it's the best part, kind of a maker space. You have all the materials, you have some ideas to get you started, and then you go from there and you are awesome. So thanks for listening, and if you have any more questions, feel free to contact me. My email is jeanlittlelibrary@gmail.com, and I always love to talk about my clubs. Thanks. Bye.